I bought this vintage Gibson L6-S in 2012 from an old Cuban guy in the Dominican Republic, and this guitar is a crime scene. It's a mystery. There's no serial number on the headstock. The pickups are definitely not original. Why is there a switch right here? And what's up with the neck? The neck finish is super sketchy. I have so many questions. Is this even a real Gibson? Well, I'm going to investigate, then I'm going to fix it up and maybe sell it. Let's first of all pull off the strings. Let's flip it over and let's have a look at the pot codes. That should be able to tell us something. So this looks really sketchy. First of all, what does that switch do? Nothing. Nothing at all. And how about the pots? Check this out. This pot is not connected to anything. This one is not connected to anything either. First of all, I need the pot codes. So to do that, I should maybe try to remove that solder. Time to read the code if I can. Let me get closer in there. You see that 13773, the last two digits over here, I can't really make out. Okay, let's try to take the solder of this last one as well. Okay, check this out. I made a little sandpaper on this piece right here and sanding ever so gently, and now it's very clear. 1377335. Let's try that with the other ones. One 7335. So I just want to see the pot code on the last one over here. Somebody messed around with this, no doubt about that. Here we go. The last one, 1377401. Okay, so what did these pot codes really tell us? 137 tells us that it's the company CTS that produced these pots. CTS stands for Chicago Telephone Supply. 73 tells us it's made in 73 and in the week 35. That's the last number. So this pot is from 73 as this is, and this one is from 74. Also, the cavity itself looks very original. There's no signs that there has been some kind of repainting or refinishing of the guitar at all. And this shiny glossy thing in the bottom, could that be some kind of coating to shield the guitar? I don't know really, but it all looks very original. So this is a great clue to understand this guitar. Now I can't wait to see what's underneath the pickups. Let's have a look at that. Okay, I'm ready to get in close. What does it say? DiMarzio. Huh. These are DiMarzio pickups. What kind of DiMarzio then? This one is special because there are two wires going from this pickup. What is that all about? Interesting. Let me research that a little bit. So this is definitely not original. Somebody has used this tape to tape up everything, but I need to know what comes out of these cables. So this is what's coming out of the wires. It has a black, a green, a red, a white, and this has to be maybe ground. Only shielding and white in that one. Okay, I made some research about these pickups. These triangular feet shows that it's probably an early 80s pickup. Check this out. These two cables are both going into the bridge pickup, and these are not connected in any way, so these are separate access to each coil. 652 to 54 kilo ohms, and the other coil from the bridge pickup measures 6.37 kilo ohms. Black and red are access to one coil, and green and white is access to another coil. The black and the red is 6.7, the green and the white is 6.54. So this looks consistent with super distortion or dual sound DiMarzio pickups. So that's fascinating. Maybe some additional things were meant to work with this switch. I don't know what that could be. Okay, this is really exciting. I actually wrote DiMarzio tech support and asked them to help me identify the pickups and date them. They just wrote back, and they are saying that the neck pickup is a dual sound DiMarzio from the early to mid 80s, and the bridge pickup is a super distortion DiMarzio, also early 80s to mid 80s. What is really interesting is it turns out that the dual sound DiMarzio was sold with a toggle switch, just like the switch I have in this guitar. The dual sound pickup was meant to be able to switch from parallel to series internally in the pickup. Also, they said that the bridge pickup has been modified, and somebody did that modification. They didn't do that. So that is very interesting information. So the knobs seem to be original. Also, the metal thing right here is original. So now let's take a look at the neck. It's very obvious that it's a 3-piece neck, and that fits with what it should be for an L6-S original. Also, the finish fits very well. These are American-made original Grover tuners. Gibson's advertising from the mid-70s shows the L6-S fitted with this type of tuners. And with no extra holes in my headstock, these are very likely the original tuners from the Gibson factory. This knob and the numbered plate around it are definitely not original, and because the pickguard has no numbers stamped into it like the original L6-S pickguard, I suspect that the pickguard may have been replaced also. There's one very strange thing about this neck as well. Check this out. When I put on the truss rod cover, it's hitting the screw a little bit. You see that? This one was under it, like this, and the cover on top, like this. So what happened here? I can't figure that out. The logo looks a little suspicious. What's going on with that? I don't really know. The thing that has disturbed me all along is that there's no serial number right here, and I'm trying to figure out why that can be, but I'm not quite sure about that. Then there's this last thing. On the edge right here, the finish is gone. That could maybe be something that happened when it was refretted. Somebody painted it in right here. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you is this unfortunate thing right there. That is me. I'm sorry about that. Let's not get into that. So now I'm ready to test the electrical polarity of each coil. So I approach and I pull away. Let's see the test. I approach, plus, I pull away, minus. So after doing that test, I have all the information I need to make a wiring diagram that incorporates this whole thing with phase, in phase, out of phase, serial and parallel switching. Now I just need to make one last test, and that's the black light test. I got this light. So the black light is supposed to reveal if there has been some kind of repaint, because the nitro is turning green on the black light when it's old nitro. Check out the knobs, really green. I don't see any real signs of a repaint, but it's kind of a milky greenish surface. But of course, the most interesting thing is actually the neck. Let's have a look at the headstock. So this headstock is super green. I don't know if the camera can catch it. It's very obvious where the logo or the decal is, but I don't know what that really tells me. No obvious changes in the glow of the finish. It all looks really consistent. It's the same greenish milky glow all over, from the neck all through the whole body. And that is pretty interesting. I think the most important thing I learned from this black light test is what it doesn't show. And I just realized that I have not checked out this switch. Let's see if there's some kind of dating on this switch. Here it is. This is how it looks. Very much not what I expected to see. I'm a little disappointed. Okay, I have to investigate what that stuff is, because that is very strange. This is definitely not original Gibson, but it is definitely old. It's a new day. It's actually a new week, and I've been thinking long and hard about what to do with this switch. But before we get to that, I want to settle the big question. Is this guitar actually a Gibson? What else could it be? Well, actually, Ibanez made a very close copy to the L6-S in the 70s. They made it only in natural and black finish with the Ibanez logo on the headstock and all Japanese parts. So could somebody maybe have tried to pass off that Japanese copy as a Gibson, maybe to make money on a sale? Looking at the clues, the pot codes, the pickups, the American-made tuners, the finish, this has to be an original Gibson L6-S, very likely from 1974, and of course very heavily modded. But now looking at the board, I remember there's a piece I haven't really checked out of this guitar, and that's the bridge and the tailpiece. So this is the harmonica bridge, and there's not really any markings on it, and it's the typical bridge for an L6-S. And the tailpiece, are you kidding me? Do you see that? Made in Japan? Is this a Japanese knockoff after all? No, think about it. What would somebody have to do to make an Ibanez 2451 look like this? First of all, they would have to paint it sunburst like this in a very professional manner. Then they would have to get American parts from the right period and American-made Grover tuners to put in. They would have to put a Gibson logo on the headstock and make a fake truss rod cover also. And after doing all of that, they forget to change the one part that is most easy to change that says made in Japan. That makes no sense, right? So the verdict stands. This is an original Gibson L6-S, likely from 74, but heavily modded, also with Japanese parts. If you don't agree, I want to know why. Now that that's settled, I can't wait to clean this guitar and rewire the whole thing. And I'm so excited about the custom wiring scheme I've worked out, because I think it honors this old beauty's complicated history while also letting the vintage DiMarzio pickups do what they were designed to do. I've just received all the components I need, but this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to do it in the next one, where we're finally going to hear how this 50-year-old Gibson will sound with these these 40-year-old pickups. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.